Hello everyone, and welcome to an Escreal Minecraft Redstone tutorial. In fact, welcome to the first ever Escreal Minecraft Redstone tutorial. Today I will be showing you how you can build an automated pumpkin or melon farm that is specially designed to be very Towny Survival Mode friendly. I had 4 specific goals in mind as I was designing this farm. First, it needed to be completely automated and required no additional manual involvement in order to harvest or plant the crops. Secondly, since I intend for this farm to exist within a towny base, it needed to be very sensitive to the size constraints of a plot of land within a town. Third, all of the building materials had to be items that were readily accessible pretty much anywhere in the world, so that you could very early on in your gameplay build this farm successfully. The final design consideration that went into this farm was that since I intend for this to be running on a multiplayer server, I wanted to be very sensitive to the impact that it might have on the server processing power and its risk of causing lag for everyone playing. So all of the automations had to have the minimalist amount of impact on server latency as possible, yet still produce the automated results that I was looking for. The final design that I came up with is an automated farm with a very small footprint that uses building materials that are readily accessible pretty much anywhere in the world and is designed so that all of the redstone is as server friendly as we could make it. The way this farm works is that there is a single pumpkin stalk within the farm itself. When new pumpkins grow, since there is only one available spot next to the stalk, they will always appear on this piece of dirt. As soon as the pumpkin appears, this piston behind it will activate, knocking the pumpkin and breaking it, sending it into these hoppers at the front of the farm, which feed into this chest for you to pick up at your convenience. Once the pumpkin has been broken, the space is now available once again for the stalk next to it to grow more pumpkins in that space and repeat the process over and over again. Now, as long as you have available storage space, the pumpkins that get broken and get launched into these hoppers will be stored for future use. However, if you ever run out of space and the pumpkins have nowhere to go, they will just float around as entities that can contribute to server lag. So when you no longer need this farm to be actively producing more pumpkins, we can just turn it off, which will prevent any more pumpkins from growing until you're ready for more pumpkins. At which point, as soon as you flip the switch back, your space to grow new pumpkins is once again available, and the stalk will now be able to once again produce new pumpkins for the farm. Now, if you'd like to check out this farm in more detail, there is a world download in the description. However, if you'd like to see how it's built, then let's get started with our tutorial. This farm is 4 blocks wide by 5 blocks deep. We'll begin with a double chest at the front, followed by 2 hoppers feeding into that chest. Next, we're going to put a couple sets of double-stone slabs on either side of the hoppers. We're then going to skip a block and put a birchwood plank, skip a block, and fill in the rest of the perimeter with birchwood. Next, we're going to put in the lighting system for our farm, which will allow our farms to both grow underground as well as around the clock. To do this, though, we are going to have to put down a temporary block in the corner with a jack-o'-lantern on top of that. We're then going to put another temporary block next to that jack-o'-lantern, go up, and put down the jack-o'-lantern on top of that block. We can now kill both those pieces of dirt and move along with putting down the dirt in their permanent position, which is 1 block forward. This is where the pumpkin stem will be and where the pumpkins will grow. Now that we have a nice contained area, we're going to fill that area with water. This will allow our dirt to get hydrated. Hydrated dirt is not technically required to grow pumpkins, but this will dramatically increase the growth rate of pumpkins and therefore the production yield of our farm. Now I'm just going to update my inventory so we can complete the rest of this build. Now that we have the framework in place, we can move on to our redstone and automation. We'll begin by laying a piston next to this jack-o'-lantern facing out. This is what is used to both harvest the pumpkins as they grow, as well as to prevent the machine from growing any further pumpkins. Then we'll put a lever on these stone slabs, followed by a redstone repeater, followed by a redstone torch on the back of this wooden plank, a wooden plank on top of the redstone torch, followed by a redstone torch next to it. Now this redstone torch is currently off. However, if we want to prevent the growth of any further pumpkins, we just activate the lever, which fires the redstone, which toggles the states of our redstone torches and permanently extends our piston. To go back to farming, we just turn off the lever. In order to automate our harvest, we need another piston, this time facing up, with a block of sand on top of it. Now we're going to build up a little bit more of the framework of the farm with 2 more double slabs on each side with another set right here, followed by oak planks right here and here, a smooth sandstone block right here opposite of the sand block. In the back, we will lay 3 more birchwood blocks in the middle row, wrapping the corner, followed by 1 more birchwood block above the redstone torch, 1 next to it, and 1 next to the piston. Next, we'll place stone slabs over the hoppers, which run into a furnace facing inwards. The furnace will be loaded with 42 stackable items of your choice. I figure cobblestone was likely the most available. We'll then place a comparator on the other side of the sand facing away from the furnace, which is what we'll use in order to toggle the states of our pistons. The comparator will then feed redstone, which runs on top of these planks, turning the corner where it will connect with a repeater, and then finish up with redstone across the slabs and on top of the furnace. At this point, the farm is fully functional, and if you want to see it in action, you can simulate the growth of a pumpkin by placing one on this dirt spot, which will fire off this piston, launching it into the hopper, which gets stored in the chest. The farm works because these pistons are listening for when changes to the blocks around them occur. For the purposes of a farm, that means growing a pumpkin. That means that this farm uses block update detectors, or buds, really as the brain of this farm, to look for when new pumpkins grow, how to harvest them, and what to do after the pumpkins have been harvested. One of the last things that we need to do for this farm is really help our piston aim for the hoppers. To do that, we're going to enclose all of the empty space in this farm with glass so that when a pumpkin is launched, it has a higher likelihood of actually landing in the hoppers themselves. Note that this is not a completely lossless farm, in that occasionally a pumpkin might not make it into the hopper, but at least we can do our best to try to make that happen. We'll start by closing up the top by putting in 2 pieces of glass. This is particularly important because if we put anything other than a transparent block, like glass above the pumpkin stem, it will prevent the pumpkin from growing. So we need to keep this either as open air, which means that a pumpkin could get out this way, or with a transparent block like our glass. Along the front of the farm, we'll use glass planes just to give it a slightly thinner look as we make our way around the opening and close up all avenues for the pumpkins to escape. Lastly, to help us remember what this lever does, we'll just put a sign indicating which position is on and which position is off. Now, if you just built this farm, you probably remember what this lever does. However, if you built this farm for someone else, or if this is a communal farm that players may need to know when to toggle the state on or off, this can just be a very helpful guide for them. And there you have it, our Towny Pumpkin micro farm. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider clicking the like button down below. And if you really like these styles of videos and like to see more, please subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please add them below. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye!